Steam is packed with incredible games that barely get the spotlight they deserve. From emotional indies to unforgettable horror and story-driven experiences, these hidden gems prove you don't need a massive budget to make something special. If you're looking for your next favorite game, you're in the right place. Let's dive into some of the best hidden gems you can find on Steam. Unpacking is a cozy puzzle game about unpacking boxes and placing items in new living spaces. There's no dialogue, but a story unfolds through the objects you place. Each level represents a different stage in the character's life, letting you piece together their journey through subtle environmental storytelling. The gameplay is relaxing and intuitive, turning simple organization into something deeply satisfying. It's low stress and highly immersive. The pixel art is warm and charming, making every room feel lived in and personal. Sound design adds to the calming atmosphere. If you enjoy quiet, thoughtful games that tell stories without words, Unpacking is a perfect hidden gem. Before Your Eyes is an emotional narrative game controlled by your real-life blinking. Using a webcam, the game advances the story every time you blink. You relive moments from a character's life, often skipping forward unintentionally, just like memories fading over time. It's a simple idea with powerful emotional impact. Gameplay is minimal, allowing the story and concept to take center stage. The experience is short but incredibly personal. The writing and voice acting elevate the story, delivering moments that are genuinely heartfelt and memorable. Before Your Eyes is ideal for players looking for a unique emotional experience that experiments with how stories are told in games. Heaven's Vault is a narrative adventure focused on archaeology, language, and discovery. You play as an archaeologist uncovering the secrets of an ancient civilization. The core mechanic revolves around translating a forgotten language by piecing together symbols and meanings. Your interpretations directly influence the story. Exploration takes place across floating rivers of space, giving the game a calm, contemplative pace. The journey itself feels just as important as the destination. The art style is minimalist but striking, emphasizing atmosphere over detail. Combined with strong writing, it creates a thoughtful experience. If you enjoy games that reward curiosity and critical thinking, Heaven's Vault is a truly underrated gem. Hypnospace Outlaw is a unique adventure game set inside a fictional 1990s internet. You play as an internet enforcer tasked with moderating websites while surfing through retro chaos. The game perfectly captures the look and feel of old-school web pages, complete with MIDI music, pop-ups, and questionable design choices. Nostalgia is a huge part of the appeal. Your job involves investigating user reports, finding rule violations, and navigating countless bizarre websites. It's part detective work, part time capsule. As the story unfolds, the world of Hypnospace becomes more complex and surprisingly emotional. There's a lot more beneath the surface than you might expect. Hypnospace Outlaw is perfect for players who enjoy clever satire, exploration, and unconventional storytelling. The Mortuary Assistant is a first-person horror game that turns a routine job into a slow-burning nightmare. You play as a newly licensed mortician tasked with embalming bodies during late-night shifts. What makes the horror so effective is how subtle it is. Supernatural events happen unpredictably, keeping you constantly on edge as you focus on everyday tasks. Gameplay revolves around following embalming procedures, which grounds the experience in realism. This makes every unsettling moment hit even harder. The game uses randomization to ensure scares don't repeat the same way twice. No two playthroughs feel exactly alike. If you love psychological horror that builds dread instead of relying on jump scares, the Mortuary Assistant is a standout hidden gem. Disco Elysium is a narrative-driven RPG that puts dialogue and choice front and center.
You play as a detective solving a murder while struggling with your own fractured identity. Instead of traditional combat, the game uses skill checks and conversations to resolve conflicts. Your thoughts, emotions, and personality traits are characters in their own right. The writing is sharp, philosophical, and often darkly funny, tackling politics, morality, and personal failure. Every decision feels meaningful. Its painterly art style and detailed environments give the world a gritty, lived-in feel. The city feels broken, complex, and deeply human. If you want an RPG that challenges how stories are told in games, Disco Elysium is an essential hidden gem that deserves its acclaim.
GRIS is a visually stunning platformer that tells an emotional story without using words. You guide a young woman through a world that slowly regains color as she heals. Gameplay is simple and approachable, focusing on light platforming and environmental puzzles. There's no combat, allowing the experience to feel calm and introspective. The art direction is breathtaking, with hand-painted visuals that look like a moving watercolor painting. Every scene feels carefully crafted. Music plays a key role in setting the emotional tone, evolving as the story progresses. It enhances the sense of loss, growth, and recovery. GRIS is perfect for players who appreciate games as art, offering a short but powerful experience that resonates emotionally. Everhood is a rhythm-based RPG that twists expectations from the moment you start playing. Instead of attacking enemies, you dodge their musical attacks in rhythm-based battles. The game is heavily inspired by classic indie RPGs, but quickly becomes something far stranger. Its story is abstract, emotional, and full of unexpected turns. Battles are fast-paced and intense, demanding focus and timing as you weave between incoming notes. The soundtrack plays a huge role in making each fight memorable. Everhood's pixel art is colorful and expressive, matching the game's surreal tone. Characters are quirky, unsettling, and oddly charming. If you like games that experiment with storytelling and mechanics, Everhood is a bold hidden gem that sticks with you long after you finish it.
Memories of Old is a peaceful exploration game built around the joy of flight. You play as a shapeshifter who can transform into a bird and freely soar across floating islands in the sky. There's no combat here. The focus is purely on exploration, discovery, and environmental puzzles. You're encouraged to move at your own pace and simply enjoy the world. Flying feels incredibly smooth and liberating, making traversal the highlight of the experience. Gliding between islands never gets old. The minimalist art style and calming soundtrack work together to create a relaxing, almost meditative mood. It's the kind of game you play to unwind. If you're looking for a short, serene experience that prioritizes freedom and atmosphere, AER is an underrated gem worth picking up.
Cloudpunk is a narrative-driven exploration game set in a sprawling cyberpunk city that never sleeps. You play as Rania, a courier making deliveries in a flying car while navigating the neon-lit streets of Nivalis. The gameplay focuses on exploration, dialogue choices, and story rather than combat. As you deliver packages, you slowly uncover the lives, struggles, and secrets of the city's residents. Visually, Cloudpunk uses a voxel-based art style that gives the city a unique, stylized look. Rain-soaked streets, glowing signs, and towering skyscrapers create a moody cyberpunk atmosphere. The writing is one of the game's strongest elements, tackling themes like corporate control, inequality, and what it means to be human. Conversations often feel personal and surprisingly heartfelt. If you enjoy story-driven games with rich world-building and chill vibes, Cloudpunk is a hidden gem that's perfect for players who want to soak in atmosphere.
Observer System Redux is a cyberpunk psychological horror game set in a decaying future city. You play as a neural detective who can hack directly into people's minds to uncover the truth. The game leans heavily into atmosphere, mixing neon-soaked visuals with disturbing psychological imagery. It's less about combat and more about immersion and tension. Mind-hacking sequences are surreal and unsettling, often blurring the line between reality and nightmare. Each investigation feels deeply personal and disturbing. The upgraded System Redux version improves visuals, performance, and gameplay quality of life features. It's the best way to experience the game today. If you enjoy story-driven horror with strong cyberpunk vibes, Observer is an underrated experience worth diving into.
Backpack Hero is a roguelike with a clever twist. Inventory management is the gameplay. It's not just about what items you have, but where you place them in your backpack. Each item interacts differently based on its position, encouraging strategic layouts and constant experimentation. A good backpack arrangement can completely change your run. The game is colorful, charming, and surprisingly deep despite its simple concept. Runs feel quick, but mastering the systems takes time. As you progress, you unlock new characters, items, and mechanics that keep things fresh. The learning curve feels rewarding rather than punishing. Backpack Hero is proof that a small idea executed well can turn into an incredibly addictive hidden gem.
Weird West blends classic twin-stick action with immersive sim design in a supernatural Wild West setting. You control multiple protagonists across interconnected stories filled with strange magic and moral choices. The world reacts to your actions in meaningful ways. Towns remember what you do, characters respond dynamically, and situations can spiral in unexpected directions. Creativity is always rewarded. Combat allows for experimentation, letting you use the environment, abilities, and even physics to your advantage. There's rarely a single right way to solve a problem. Its stylized art direction and eerie tone give the frontier a unique identity that feels both familiar and unsettling. Every location feels handcrafted and reactive. If you love games that let you shape the world through your choices, Weird West is a hidden gem that offers surprising depth. Iron Lung is a short but unforgettable horror experience set entirely inside a rusted submarine. You're tasked with navigating an ocean of blood on an alien moon, and you never see what's outside directly. Instead of a window, you rely on grainy cameras, vague sonar, and unsettling audio cues. This limited perspective creates constant tension and dread, with almost no jump scares. Gameplay focuses on navigation, reading instruments, and managing pressure while something unknown lurks beyond your view. Every sound makes you second-guess your next move. The game's lo-fi visuals and sound design are intentionally uncomfortable, making the experience feel claustrophobic and oppressive. It proves horror doesn't need fancy graphics to be effective. Iron Lung is perfect for players who want a focused, atmospheric horror gem that sticks with you long after it ends. Exanima is a dark, physics-driven action RPG set in a haunting underground world that feels hostile from the moment you step inside. Instead of traditional button-mashing combat, every swing, shove, and stumble is fully physics-based. Combat is slow, deliberate, and incredibly tense, forcing you to think about positioning, momentum, and terrain. Even a single enemy can be dangerous if you get careless, which makes every victory feel earned. The game has minimal handholding, encouraging exploration and experimentation. There are no quest markers guiding you. You learn the world by surviving it. Visually, Exanima leans into moody lighting and grim environments that amplify its oppressive atmosphere. The dungeon-like spaces feel unpredictable and genuinely threatening. If you're looking for something that feels truly different from typical action RPGs, Exanima is a standout hidden gem that rewards patience and curiosity. TUNIC is an adventure game that wears its inspirations proudly, but builds its own identity through exploration and mystery. You control a small fox in a big world filled with ruins, secrets, and dangers that hark back to classic action-adventure games. The combat is fun and satisfying, with blows, dodges, and strategic movement playing into every encounter.
It doesn't talk much. Instead, the story unfolds through environmental storytelling and puzzles woven into every corner of the world. What makes TUNIC especially memorable is its manual mechanic, in-game clue books that mimic real manuals, rewarding players who piece together glyphs and secrets on their own. Critics praised TUNIC for blending familiar gameplay with innovative twists and aesthetic charm. It's frequently listed among the best indie games of its release year for good reason. If you love exploration, discovery, and figuring out mechanics as you go, TUNIC is a delightful indie adventure well worth snagging on sale.
Night in the Woods is a narrative-driven adventure that blends heartfelt coming-of-age themes with surreal mystery. You play as May Borowski, a college dropout returning to her small hometown, only to find that things have changed, and maybe changed too much. The game's dialogue and world are deeply character-focused, pulling you into conversations with old friends and townsfolk who are dealing with their own struggles. It's equal parts funny, thoughtful, and sometimes painfully real. It's not just emotional storytelling, though. The game also has underlying mysteries that you and your friends explore, sometimes leading to eerie, puzzling moments that contrast with the quieter parts of life. Night in the Woods received critical acclaim for its writing, characters, and atmosphere, earning high scores and awards for how it handles real human issues with empathy and nuance. If you want a game that feels like a story you live through rather than just play, Night in the Woods is an incredible hidden gem that deserves more eyes. Katana ZERO is a fast-paced 2D action platformer with slick, stylish combat and a hard-hitting narrative. You play as a time-manipulating assassin who slices through levels with speed and precision, using a katana, dodging attacks, and slinging items to clear rooms. One of the game's defining mechanics is the ability to slow time and predict enemy movements, effectively letting you plan each frame of action before executing it. It's both tactical and extremely satisfying. Each level plays like a puzzle in motion, with perfect runs demanding swift reflexes and smart improvisation. Whether you glide through rooms or get knocked back to retry, the pacing remains tense and exhilarating. Narratively, Katana ZERO blends neo-Norse storytelling with a surreal twist. You unravel your character's past through interactions with shady fixers, psychologists, and mysterious figures, all while piecing together who you really are. Visually stylish and narratively compelling, Katana ZERO feels like an indie action classic, perfect for players who love quick reflexes, tight design, and a story that sticks with you.
Mundaun is a first-person horror adventure set on a mysterious, snow-covered village that feels straight out of folklore. Its standout feature is the hand-drawn visual style. Every environment is sketched in pencil textures that make the world feel eerie and surreal. You play as a man returning to the village of Mundaun after his grandfather's mysterious death. What begins as a personal trip quickly unfolds into a chilling journey filled with dark secrets, cryptic puzzles, and unsettling encounters. Puzzle solving is at the heart of exploration, often requiring you to use items in creative ways or piece together clues you find scattered throughout the village and surrounding wilderness. Enemies and tension recur throughout the experience, but Mundaun lets you choose stealth and avoidance as much as confrontation, giving you flexibility in how you approach danger. If atmospheric horror with a striking, one-of-a-kind art style sounds good to you, Mundaun is a deeply memorable indie game that'll stick with you long after the credits roll.
Pentiment is a story-driven adventure RPG from Obsidian Entertainment that feels like a medieval mystery novel come to life. You follow Andreas Mahler, a journeyman painter in 16th century Bavaria, as he gets pulled into a series of intertwined murder mysteries throughout a turbulent era. The game blends investigation mechanics with rich narrative choices that shape how the story unfolds. What immediately sets Pentiment apart is its visual style. The art looks like illuminated manuscripts and historical documents, which gives the world a beautiful and authentic feel that you won't see in many modern RPGs. It's part visual storytelling and part historical exploration.
Gameplay revolves around dialogue trees, investigation, and gathering clues, much like an interactive novel. You'll often decide how conversations go, who you trust, and ultimately who gets accused, meaning your choices can have serious social consequences. The setting, a fictional alpine town and a nearby abbey, feels alive, full of characters with motives, histories, and secrets. Pentiment doesn't rely on combat, letting you focus on intrigue, community dynamics, and the weight of each choice you make. If you're tired of generic RPG tropes and want a narrative experience that feels like you're living a history book, Pentiment is a standout hidden gem that deserves more attention.
And those are our picks for some Steam's best hidden gems you might have missed. If you found a new game to add to your wishlist, be sure to drop a like and let us know your favorites in the comments. There are tons of amazing games hiding just beneath the surface, and this list is only scratching the surface. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.